Today I've got my Winchester Model 94 in 3030 out on the bench. It is fresh from getting a brand new gun coat job. The receiver was, as these 70s models Winchesters can attest, the receiver's finish was not that great and over the years had worn off. So I got the entire thing refinished in glossy black gun coat just to give it a nice look. At the end of the day, this is going to be it is a beater 3030 that just rides around in the truck and takes a deer every now and then. We're going to make sure though that my iron sights are on. So in order to get this gun refinished, everything has to be stripped down completely apart, and in putting stuff back together, the sights are not going to be on. I shot it right when I picked it back up, and at about 30 yards it was shooting to the right significantly. So using some quality gunsmithing tools, I beat the rear sight back over to the left, and now we're going to try it out. I've got two paper plate targets set up at 50 yards, and then I have a steel gong set up at 100 yards. We're going to shoot a couple shots on these paper targets to see if I really beat this gun back in on sight, or if I've got to do a little bit more work to it. I'm going to be shooting some Winchester 150 grain power points today, just because that's what I have the most of. But I do have a few 150 grain Federal Power Shocks that we may launch through here as well. So we're gonna again take a couple shots at 50 yards just to see if there's any adjusting that needs to happen, and then we're gonna stretch it out to 100. I have never shot this gun at 100 yards before, so it's really time to test out those iron sights. Stick around. So we may do this one shot at a time initially, just to see how close we are. I'm going to load up 3, but more than likely we're just going to do this kind of one at a time instead of shooting a lot of groups. All right, let's see how we're doing at 50 yards. I'm going to go for the bottom target. No, I'll go for the top target. And just trying to get that center. I can't really see the circles that well, so I'm just going to aim toward the center of the paper plate itself. All right, let's take a look. So it was kind of surprising. My point of aim was here, and it shot there. I'll take one more shot and just to confirm that, and then we may have to tap it over to the right. All right, let's see that one. Yep, first one was there, second one was there, so definitely need to tap it over. Usually I hold a 6 o'clock hold on here in order to hit there, and I've been holding right here, so I don't know that I'm going to mess with that yet, but I definitely need to tap it back over to the right. So what I've done to make this a little easier is I've placed a piece of tape in front of my rear sight and marked it there with where this point is. So as I drift from side to side, I'll know how much I've drifted based on this mark. I've also stuck a piece of paper back here just to keep the rear sight from marring up this gun coat. And I'm going to use a 1/2 inch dowel with just a little rubber light mallet to drift that sight back over to the right just a little. I'd say that's pretty well drifted. We'll take another shot and see how much we have left to go. That got us much better. Okay. I'm going to take another shot and then do the true 6 o'clock hold I normally do on these. And if we can get anywhere in this circle, we're going to take it out to 100. Yeah, at this point it looks like we're just chasing it around, going this way, going back that way. Looks like it's just going to hold right here. I may can tap it over just a little bit more, but we're going to try that out at 100 now, after I've tapped it back to the left just a little. All right, we tapped it a little bit back to the left. We're going to try to hit some steel at 100 yards. Let's see what happens. Again, I've never taken this gun out to 100 yards, so I have no idea where to hold. We're just going to try our best. Well, that's a miss. All right. It's another miss. I'm going to check and see if the other camera, if I've got any idea if I'm going high or low on this. Well, couldn't really tell anything from that, so we're just going to lob a couple more down there. See if we can't sort of figure it out. The first shot, I did a 6 o'clock hold. The second shot, I held right over it. So we'll see. When I say right over it, I mean my front post was covering the sight downrange, so, or the target downrange rather. Let's try another 6 o'clock hold. There we go. Well, let's try that again. All right, that's 2. Let's go for one more. Okay, 3 shots. Let's go see where we're hitting on target. Well, y'all, iron sights at 100 yards gives us this. That's not shabby at all. Kind of nicked the corner there. My aim point for these, and like I said, I keep a 6 o'clock hold, but my aim point was probably right here, is where that, I mean, once you get to 100 yards, that front post sort of covers this entire thing. So I was aiming right around here and got shots there. So, I mean, this is what I would call acceptable for 30-30 at 100 yards especially. But to fine tune it, like I may go back later and drift it just a little bit back over to the right, but I don't want to mess with it too much. I'd rather just know where I have to hold than having to hit the sight back and forth so many times. But I'd consider this really good, especially, I mean, like I said, I have not shot that gun at 100 yards before, so 3 back-to-back hits at 100 yards, I like it. Now I did say we may throw in a couple of these power shocks, so that's what we're going to do. It may have a different point of impact than this Winchester stuff. And I haven't shot these through this gun before. I've shot them through a Marlin 30AW, but we'll see how they work. In addition to the steel plate down there, I've got a helium tank down there as well. I'm not expecting, you know, anything theatrical out of the helium tank, but it should be a little more interesting than just the gong. But we'll try one shot at the gong, and then hit or miss, we'll move over to that helium tank. It's a little larger, so I should be able to hit it. Let's see. There's my gong hit. So, can still hit a gong with these. Now let's go to that helium tank. Like I said, nothing theatrical. Still pretty cool. Still hitting about where the others are hitting, a little to the left. But I think this also shows a left hit, considering where that's gonna be. So again, I think that's perfectly acceptable for a 30-30 with open sights at 100 yards. Haven't had to take a shot like that on a deer quite yet. About 76 yards. It's been the furthest. I think in a previous video I said 50, but I think it was 76. But yeah, perfectly acceptable, and pretty much the same shot placement as the Winchesters. Now, as I wrap this up today, I just want to make a couple points. You'll find a ton of people online defending the 30-30 against an invisible army of people who are dogging it. I don't know that I've ever met a person in real life who said that the 30-30 was underpowered for deer, even out to 100 yards. Now, of course, the limitations would be with the pre-angle eject Model 94s, you are stuck with iron sights unless you, kind of force it off to a side-mounted scope or get one of those no-drill rails that put more of like a scout-style scope up front. I really wouldn't do that with this. I'd keep it with iron sights. And you can use the ones that came with the rifle, or you can get a peep sight that mounts onto the side and comes over there. So out to 100 yards, I think iron sight's pretty good. I don't know that I would have said that had I not been able to hit that steel gong back to back to back at 100 yards. Once I figure out where I'm supposed to hold, it became a lot easier. I even took another shot off camera after I drifted the rear sight back over to the right a little bit, just to sort of confirm, that it wasn't where I was holding, it was the sight, and it was the sight. The shot moved back over to the right, and I think I've about got it now where I'm just gonna keep it steady there and not drift it back and forth. Thank you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on Instagram. It's @YonderOak, same as the name of this channel. I post behind the scenes video and photos of these shoots, as well as short form videos that I feel would work better on Instagram than on YouTube. Thanks for stopping by.